So we have come to the final electric bass in my little video series of talking about all my instrument collection, but we're going to bring it all the way back here because this is the very first bass I ever owned, and it's what I basically learned how to play the instrument, or how I learned how to play it, was done on this. So there's a lot of stories, but there's also not a whole lot to say about it. It's simple in its design, but what it means to me is, it's hard to put into words, but I'll do my best. So, what this is a Lyon by Washburn, and you wouldn't really be able to tell that by the headstock, because this is a very inexpensive beginner level instrument that my mom got me on my 16th birthday, which is incredible, one of the best things. And I've talked about how I started playing music in a previous video, about how my cousins all played music and they want to, let's do a family band thing. So I asked what was left, and they said, well, we don't have anybody that plays bass. So I said, all right, well, I'll learn whatever that is. And now look at it. I'm still, unfortunately, the only one that took it more seriously, than the others. But this is what started it all. It looked absolutely nothing like it, or like it did when I got it. I have changed absolutely everything that can be changed on this. The only thing that's original is body, neck, and everything else has changed. I guess frets and all that, but yeah. So I taped off the headstock because when I had people come over, I'd play it. I was embarrassed that it was such a cheap instrument, and that tape has been on there for I can't even say 10 years, maybe. It's never come off, and it probably won't ever come off. So, but under there is the Lyon headstock, or the Lyon by Washburn logo. So yeah, what can I talk about with this thing? Well, let's start at the bridge, because it's always Kahler here. They are the best at what they do. I was actually debating on even making a video on this bass so soon, because I always want to change it. And I think I'm finally at a point now where I don't want to change it as much. And if I did change it, the one thing I'd want to do is replace this bridge with a tremolo system, but I just really like having a fixed bridge sometimes, it's just got its own character to it. But they are the best. You can't beat Kahler, really. You really can't do it. And it's just the best bridge you can get. So, from there, EMG X pickups. They are active. I used to have a 24-volt mod in this thing, but it is so noisy and loud already that I took it out because it was too much. Single volume and a kill switch. I replaced the tone, and as in all my other basses, kill switch is there to fill the hole. So these are DR strings. They are the Black Beauty set. It is 55 to 125, and I have this thing strung up in B, just for something different. It's nice to have a lower instrument, tuned instrument. And let's see. The nut is a Graphtec nut, the Tusk nut, and these are the Godot style tuners. Let's see what else. There's not a whole lot else to it as far as the fretboard. As with all of them, I really like the blackout aesthetic, so I taped it off with black nylon tape to kind of make it all, give the midnight look. And then on the back here, this bass was signed by Michelangelo Badio. This is the second bass I've had signed by him. The first one was a BC Rich Mockingbird that I no longer have, which is sad, but also, man, that bass just was not super great. The neck dive was like more. So, sounded good though. And then I use fret wraps on everything for tapping stuff and recording. It's great, and it just kind of lives up there. So yeah, that's really it about the specs of this bass. Like I said, it is noisy. So. noisy and it's uncontrollable, but it sounds really good, and I think being in B fits it. And speaking of that, okay, people ask why I don't ever go to 5 strings. I've had 4, 5, 6, and 7 string basses, and 4 is just home bass, man. I got somewhat small hands, so playing on a 6 string was tough, and I just didn't like playing on a 5 string. And when you think about it, you break it down. Right now, I'm missing the high G string on this because it's B, E, A, D. So when you really think about it, and obviously this doesn't, you know, if you're going to do chordal work and stuff like that, it's different, but you only miss out on 5 notes per string if you stay in standard tuning. Obviously, if you go drop tuning, it's different. But like if for this string, I mean, you're only missing 5 notes because like if you go here, that's the octave of it, and then if you want to go up 5, so then if I wanted this note, I would go 5 notes up to where the G string would be, and then I'd only have 5 notes that I'm missing. So like, if I need to hit one of those notes, I don't really need to. It's only 5. So you just go an octave lower, and it's here. You know, it's not that big a deal. That doesn't work for everybody, obviously, but you know, for me it works. I just really like 4-string instruments. It's just not worth trying to change the way I play just for a 5 string, just an extra string. So that's why I stick to the 4-string thing. So let's see, talk about some. This bass almost was not in my possession anymore for a somewhat embarrassing story. In high school, I traded this bass to a friend of mine for a Rock Band 2 drum set, and not to own it, just to borrow the drum set for like, I believe it was 2 weeks, maybe it might have been a month, but I gave him this instrument to borrow that. And at the time I had that BC Rich, so I didn't need another bass, and I was like, I don't want to play this, I got a nice bass, this thing sucks, you know, it sounds like shit. And I don't remember how long it was, but it was a couple years, I think. I ended up asking for it back because I realized that my mom gave me this, and this is a part of my history. So I asked for it back, and he gave it back to me. So that was really cool of him to do that. I'm really glad that I have this instrument. And I'm not one to just kind of have an instrument and just have it for sentimental value. I really wanted to use this instrument and put it to use to make it sound good. So I changed everything on it, like I said. It was unplayable, and it sounded awful the way it was with its stock passive pickups, and like everything was just terrible on it. So I really wanted to put this thing to good use, and this is the actual bass that, if you've heard the Ergodic EP, this is the bass that I did all of the leads, the bass leads on for those songs, those 3 songs. So if you listen to it, it is punchy and it cuts through. That's all this. It's all this bass right here. It was just tuned up a half step to C. So it sounds awesome. I also can't go without saying that I love this strap that my sister had made for me. It's got like my tattoo on my back on it, and I was like, that is the perfect thing for this. This bass is just great, it's sentimental, and it just means so much to me. So it sounds really good now. It sounds great in B standard. I think it sounds really good for the low end stuff. It's super noisy, but it even like kind of creaks up here. I'm gonna put some oil on that one. But that's about it. It's got like a little bit of a chunky neck on it, but it's the most comfortable bass because I've been playing it for 16 years. So that is what's kind of crazy about it. It's always good to have something kind of in a different tuning. My 2 acrylics are all in standard tuning, so I figured let's throw this one in B, and so I can write and cover some heavier songs and lower tuning. So that's about it for this one. It's got the most sentimental value to me. I'm so glad I still have it, and I can never get rid of it. It's light, and it still just feels good, and I'm glad that people have been able to hear it. I was able to record with it, and I'm sure it won't be the last time that it's on a recording.